Speakers throughout history have used their influence and public appeal, along with some of their greatest speeches, to inspire and unite people during times of struggle. The world looks to the 16th former American President Abraham Lincoln, who during a time of great divisions and civil war united the nation in a speech that lasted only 2 minutes, dubbed the Gettysburg Address.
It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. That this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom. And that government of the people, by the people, for the people.
Another great speaker and leader, Dr. Martin Luther King, brought together people of all races in America. These, among others, made speeches that moved their people.
One day, this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creeds. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream we'll be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
In Uganda, since independence, ex-President Milton Obote's speech on 9th of October 1962 is widely acclaimed by many. The years following, there has been speeches made by other leaders, but less is to be quoted from them. On 26th of February 1986, upon being sworn in, President Museveni is renowned for saying that he had not come to power as a mere change of guards, but a fundamental change, a view that many challenge today.
Not count us in that category of people. The National Resistance Movement, I think, is a clear-headed movement with clear objectives and with good membership. I think it makes a very big difference from the situation in which we were, where the very people in power were they themselves encouraging evil instead of trying to combat evil. What is happening today, or what has been happening in the last few days, is a mere change of guards. This is not a mere change of guards. I think this is a fundamental change in the politics of our country.
Fast forward, he was sworn in for the 5th term in a ceremony attended by 14 heads of state. The president's tone, charisma, and other presentation skills have changed, perhaps due to age. Most recently, we had the Speaker of Parliament being sworn in, and her focus was on the challenges that lay ahead for the 10th Parliament. Then, contestant to the Deputy Speaker's position, Honorable Mohammed Nsereko spoke this way after losing to Right Honorable Jacob Olanya.
In democracy, there is always a winner and a loser. However, to my countrymen, we've all won today because it's clearly democracy is the winner. Surely, to all the young men and women in this country that aspire to lead this nation, let's rise up and embrace true knowledge. Led by God, who is the source of life, we shall rebuild our motherland. Comrades from the National Resistance Movement, you've spoken and you've spoken aloud. Your voices have been heard. The independents, you've spoken and you've spoken aloud, and the nation has heard. The opposition, you've clearly spoken and your voices have been heard. There is no doubt in my mind that this country is not going to be the same again. Our right to stand shall never be unabated. We were ready for the contest, and thank you, Almighty God. The 115 people always asked me, Honorable Nsereko, do not betray our trust, and indeed have not. When people give you their trust in this world, there is no reason as to why you should by any reason turn their back on them.
Now take a look and listen to the Deputy Speaker's presentation.
We should agree that from the outset, we will lay the facts on the table and use them as a reference point when expressing sometimes very divergent opinions. Let's base ourselves on facts. 2, reason has a guiding principle. We should agree that we will endeavor to use reason and sound logic in tabling our positions. This will enable us to derive the correct interpretation from facts, whatever we will agree them to be. And 3, tolerance and mutual respect. We should agree that no view will be suppressed. All views will be received with tolerance and given fair treatment based on non-facts and reason. We must pledge to override intolerance. And 4th, harmony. We should agree that monumental as the task before us will be and will always be, it's still important that we adopt a collegial approach and debate in such a manner that would bring our collective wisdom to bear on the problems presented before us through bills, through motions, through different reports, through budgets and different policies. The spirit of harmony should and will keep us conscious that the people did not give us this task as individuals, but rather as the august house as a whole. Therefore, we have a collective responsibility to work together harmoniously.
The day was crowned by President Museveni's address to the House. Among all the speakers, though, there was no standing ovation from the audience.
I congratulate this Parliament for passing the test. You have now passed the test. I came here and sat there to see whether you would pass the test or you would fail. You remember, we in the NRM did not believe in multi-party politics. Initially, we said, please, why doesn't this multi-party politics? Hold on. But some people insisted. My sister Sise insisted. She said we must have multi-party now. Okay, for me I was not convinced, but we said, okay, if that's what you want, then let's go multi-party. So the constitution was amended. We carried out a referendum. The country moved from individual merit to multi-party politics. Now, to go in a party caucus and you take a legitimate decision, and then you come to Parliament and you go against it, that would be a disaster for democracy in Uganda.
Even though the Deputy Speaker gave a compelling speech, perhaps it wasn't moving enough to produce the desired results. President Museveni, though, is considered by some experts in communication as a genius due to his sense of humor. Edwin Muhumza, Channel 44 Television.